Alright, so this is the other game, and this is a crazy matchmaking. Like, tier 8, no wordy. There aren't even any tier 10 heavy tanks. Like, this should always be a really good game. And this game is interesting because of like how prolonged the fight is here. Usually on jalloof, most of the time these fights, one team just owns pretty quickly, but this fight lasted a few minutes at least. There are a couple like massive mistakes that I make that make this game actually more difficult than it should be. Speed this up. And the tier 9 heavy tank went 9 line and just exploded instantly. Usually I'll peek here first. Depends if they've got something really fast. I get lit, so I just back off because sometimes things will cross over here and I don't really want to get owned by one of them. So because I backed off here, there's no way I'm gonna like re-peek the corner because there will for sure be something holding that angle. And I watched this replay twice, and I played the game. And in a second, you're gonna see something. I still don't understand how it's possible. Like honestly, yeah, I guess it makes sense right now. Like you'll see, he must have come off this corner, and there's like a little tiny gap where I wouldn't have proxied him, but like it fucking blew my mind when it happened. Any second, the 430 shows up here. Like what the fuck? The guy had to catch, and this guy is just simping for him. The guy had to catch the craziest. This guy is a fucking idiot. He's gonna drive over like this, gonna explode instantly. But now the 4005 is fired. And I'm not committing into that guy because I don't think it's worth it for me right now. The char is. I kind of own this TVP a couple times. Now the TVP is clipping, so because the char pushed him and didn't really do enough damage, I'm also gonna commit over. So the char doesn't just get owned by the 430. I was actually holding this angle. I knew the 4005 was gonna re-peak. And I was holding this angle, and I'm not sure what exactly was going through my mind. I was holding it, expecting to repeak, and then he repeaks, and I wasn't ready. And I take a fucking shot in the side. I'm lucky I didn't lose 2,000 health right there because he's shooting AP for some reason. Like it doesn't really. I don't know why he's shooting AP. I really want to kill this 430 with high explosive, but the problem is there are these other tanks kind of covering him. But I also want to shoot them. And this guy, his timings are crazy because I keep like intuitioning high explosive, but then he doesn't peak. This is one thing that's horrible about the M60. Like the Cupola, any of these guys could just end me at any given time. Like, Cupola in this thing is just so unbelievably bad. This is one of the maps that I hate playing in this tank, just because of how bad the Cupola is. Like, look at this 430. This guy is. He's either like the greatest gamer of all time, and he's perfectly timing the Cupola. Pretty sure that's Cupola anyway. Yeah. So now I've lost basically all of my health, and I'm kind of just chilling here for now. This, I think that shot should have hit. I'm not entirely sure why it didn't. Peeking this guy, like I was expecting him to shoot one of the guys driving down. He could have shot me, like I could have died there, but pretty unlikely. And now that the 4005 is shot and the TVP's a one shot, I'm gonna push down, and I was gonna try and pick the TVP, but this is something I'm not gonna talk about in great length here, but I do it a lot. I don't really see many other people do it. When you're driving up a ridge and you need gun depression, And to back down quickly, by the way you drive, like when you hit the top of the ridge, you start backing up instantly. You can give yourself a ton of gun depression, which is what I do on this guy. So this is also a risky peak, like, but the 4005 wasn't even looking at me. He was gonna kill the other guy. And I was thinking of driving slightly forward and picking the one-shot TVP, but a tortoise shows up. And I want to do damage to the 4005 because I want that thing dead. And now that this guy died, and then this guy died behind me, it's just me and the char. And I know that, especially if there's like 3 tanks here, I cannot be caught on this ridge, so I need to stack an angle and then drive away. Because they can just YOLO straight into me, and I would just die. Because there's just too many of them. I was gonna hold here because if I drive across here and they end up pushing down, like the tortoise pushes down, kills this guy, and then there's end up like the 4005 or the Progetto or something holds this, then I'm caught over here, and then I don't really have an option to leave if I want to. So it's better to hold here for right now. Luckily, this tortoise is horrible. Like, he ends up giving me so many shots that he probably shouldn't have. Now I cross over because I want to pick the one-shot 4005. This is, you see good players do this a lot. They find like an opening, and this kind of play is, it's basically impossible to predict because it's not really easy for this guy to see whether or not I have this opening. I come over here and take a look at these guys, see if they are like actually spotting this side, and there's nothing over here. So because, see how this ridge goes down right here, these guys are, we're holding like this kind of flat part of the ridge, and these guys are not spotting this. So I can drive through the middle here, not get lit by them up here, and then up here over here, and then there's no way the one-shot 4005 could be ready for this peak. So I pick him for free pretty much. So this is something, this is a kind of peak that's is pretty unique to El Haloof, like this specific fight right here, where you can like play in the open and use somebody's close angle against them, more or less. Like, I'm completely in the open. You'd think that maybe he could just peek on me and shoot me. But the thing is, because he's slightly far, or not far, he's like a bit back from this angle, he has to drive forward slightly to be able to get an angle around it to shoot me. So I can hold it close, and then I can just back up straight away this way, and he can't drive forward fast enough to get an angle on me because I just close it on him. There's like, I don't really, there's not really many other maps where this is kind of a thing. He probably could have shot me there if he was better, but he didn't, so not a big deal. And now I was kind of wanting to do the same thing I did to the 4005 against him, but the Progetto is here, so it's not really an option. The tortoise is like, he ends up, this guy, I don't know what he's doing, gives me a free shot, which is really good because that guy was a guaranteed 4-shot for me. It's good. Tortoise is pushing the wreck of the 4005, and he just gives me a couple. This is dumb. This is basically ego checking puppies. I do this a lot. Sometimes they hit the shot, sometimes I don't. I was expecting to drive up this way, and hopefully he doesn't hit my cupola, and I hit him once, but I end up not even having a shot because I like drive up the ridge slightly, like a fucking idiot. So I just trade 0 for 1. But right there, because this TVP just shot me or just saw me take one from the Progetto, he doesn't expect me to re-peek. And I see him right before he goes on lit, he starts driving forward like he's gonna hold this angle. So before he has a chance to get here and hold the angle, I'm gonna re-peek and I'm gonna catch him taking the angle. This is risky, but I was betting on myself to be able to hit that shot. Those are really hard shots to hit because as I'm coming over the ridge, and I have to like drag the mouse down to get the gun depression, but they're not like they're not that hard to hit. But because I took that shot from the Progetto, I'm probably like a 60% chance of a one shot for him. So it's really sketchy because he's like 880 health, and I have to play around not getting shot by him once. Luckily, this char was sitting here this whole time, and him just straight up being there is what allowed me to win this fight. Because he was proxying them, and he was preventing them from closing an angle on me. So I could play two angles off them, and they could not close distance without having to like trade into him. Right here it gets pretty boring. Like because I'm a one shot for this guy and he's a three shot, I kind of just have to sit here and wait for him to do something dumb. And I'm just kind of watching the fight on the corner as this is happening, kind of keeping tabs on what's going on. This is a lot like, I don't know, if you watch the part one, there's a time where I'm at C1 against the E3, and I'm saying the only advantage I have against him is that he doesn't know I'm here. And this Progetto, he knows I'm here, but he doesn't know exactly where I am and what angle I am preparing to peek. So I'm kind of just waiting here, but I can't get spotted by this guy because I'm waiting for him to do something like peek over here or peek up high. And I don't want him to know that I am preparing for him to do that. But I can't get lit by him. So I'm kind of just chilling back here. And this char right now, he's going to go pick the one shot on the corner that ends up being there in a second. Right there. He kills that guy. Now the Progetto sees the char is flanking, kind of. And this is where I almost fuck it up, because the Progetto starts shooting the char. So I was thinking that he wasn't actually going to move. I was thinking maybe I would have to peek high on him to get a shot. And this is where I almost get spotted right here. But then I see that he is driving. He's going to cross to the corner. And this whole time, setting up for this shot. And then I missed the easiest shot known to man. Like, this isn't even a brain fart. This is my brain actually, like, fucking crapping its pants. Look at this. Holy fuck. That's honestly impressive to miss that shot. And now he's crossing. This guy's winning the corner. 350 heat pen right through the side of that guy's turret. So it ends up being fine. Like this is basically the game over. Right here, it was kind of risky. Like I knew this guy was gonna push into him. I could have backed up and gotten gun depression to shoot him, but I just sat on top of the ridge because I didn't really care that much. Like this guy, I he could have come around the corner and like third person me, but he was never gonna do it, so it wasn't a big deal. And now this is El Haloof facing North Cap. Like there's so many good places for them to camp and try and win the game. Like going this way it's really tough. So especially because I'm a one shot for almost all of these tanks. Maybe the 140, like a 50-50. I kind of want to go back to base now. Like this is from now that basically most of the game that was actually interesting. This is just kind of cleaning up. It's still technically close because you have to push into them, but it's really not that close. Come here. I don't want to get lit here because if the Kari is looking this way and these guys are holding low ground, I could kind of get pinched off this rock, but it doesn't really matter. This, if I was debating loading high explosive and shooting the guy in the ass, but I just took the APCR shot. And then once he gets shot in the ass by me, he drives forward, which is the right play, but that is one of like 2 kills that I could have gotten a Radley on, but it doesn't really matter. These guys somehow they completely left south. And I don't know like when they did that. And for whatever reason, they both go to like the base. Like they're not even. I would expect one of them to like hold over here somewhere, but they weren't. And then I missed this shot. I don't know what was in the way of this. I think it might have been like a building that wasn't destructible, but like that could have hit. That could have been a kill. But I mean, what are you gonna do? Like through those buildings, it's really hard to actually find a place to pre-aim because a lot of those buildings will eat shots. So you kind of just have to guess more or less. That's the game. It was decent. Like it was a fun fight over here. You don't really see aloof fights that last this long. But at the end of the day, it was versus tier 8s with no arty, no tier 10 heavies. Like it was a pretty easy game. And it was decent. Okay. I actually did way more damage than I expected that I did. I don't have the damage counter on, so I had literally no idea. I didn't expect it to be this much. But taking the shot from a 4005 was horrible. Taking the shot versus the Progetto wasn't great, but it was also like I do that a lot. I just ego check the puppies and see if they can actually hit the shot. Sometimes they do. Most of the times they don't. But yeah, it was it was decent, but it wasn't like that crazy. I think it was just an interesting game because you don't really see brawls like that happen very often. Anyway, later.